Since turning 18, I've moved a lot. When I was younger, these moves mostly consisted of me packing up the contents of my bedroom and moving it from one place to another. But as I've gotten older, acquired a household, a family, and all the things that come along with that, these moves have progressively gotten larger and more complex. The last move that we just did has been by far the biggest one I've ever done. And it was my first time moving with a toddler, and it went so smoothly. So I just wanted to share with you guys what I did differently this time to make this move so much easier, because moving is a pain, but if we can limit the stress as much as possible and make it easier on ourselves, why wouldn't we? Okay, so the first thing that I did that really helped was I made lists of what to pack by week, and I started a month out from the move. With my first major move from like one household to another, I thought that a week would be sufficient. I had a 1-bedroom apartment at the time with like a little garage full of storage, and I thought that a week of devoted packing would be enough. But I was scrambling, and on the day when the movers came, by movers I mean like our friends from church who were helping us load up the truck. By the time they came, I was still stuffing things frantically in boxes because 1 week it was tight. So I learned my lesson that time, and I wanted to start out as far as possible. You can even start out like 6 weeks in advance if you'd like. But personally, I think a month is like plenty of time. You start with the most non-essential items that you can get by without for the next month, and as each week goes by, you progressively add more and more. I cannot tell you guys how much this one thing just helped alleviate so much stress off of this move. Packing felt so much easier, and by 1 week out from the move, most of the house had already been packed up. Now I did make a free guide for you guys if you want to check that out in the description after the video. A little checklist that you can use for your own move to know what to put away week by week. And of course, this is 100% customizable to your life. If something doesn't make sense for you to put away right away, you can hold off on it. If there's something from week 3 or 2 that you can get by without, you can pack that up early. But having this visual just helped me feel so much less stressed about the move. I knew I had a game plan, I knew it was working, and I felt like really accomplished and organized. The next one might seem kind of obvious to most of you, but it wasn't always to me. I tried really hard to pack and keep things together in a way that made sense for us. For example, when I packed up the hall closet, I didn't try to like compartmentalize, put the board games in one box, put the shoe containers in another box. I packed everything that went into the hall closet into one box, labeled it hall closet, and then when we got here, I was able to just unpack it into my new hall closet. This might sound obvious, but at the end of a move, I feel like it gets kind of hectic, and the temptation is to like just start throwing things in random places. But as much as you can, try to keep things together. It will keep you so much more organized, especially when you're unpacking and looking for a very specific thing. Number 3 is something that sounds very small, but makes a huge difference. I label my boxes on 5 sides. So I will write, like for example, again, hall closet on the top of the box, and then I write maybe like hall on all 4 of the sides around. And I do this because one time I moved and we had the boxes like stacked up in the garage, and they were all labeled on the top, but I had to literally like take down the boxes, like maybe 3 boxes, to reach the box on the bottom to see if that's what I needed, and sometimes it wasn't, and it was a huge pain. So doing this will save you a big headache. You don't have to move boxes around to see what they're labeled as. You don't even have to search all the sides. It's just on every single side and the top. And when you are unpacking, it makes a huge difference. Another thing I did that kept me really organized was I kept an inventory list on my phone. That way, when we were packing, I knew what was already in the garage, and if I had to go run and get something, I like knew what was in there and could remember. It also helped me a lot when we were unpacking because I knew what was left. As I unpacked the boxes, I just like deleted things off the list, and I could see exactly what was still in the garage needing to be unpacked. Number 5 is something I did for the first time this move, and it helped a lot, and I like highly recommend this tip. I labeled the boxes by urgency. Game changer. Okay, so say that you have 7 boxes that go in the kitchen. You could label it like kitchen pans and kitchen dishes. But what I did is, as I packed, I labeled it by the urgency. So I would put kitchen, non-essential. And these are things that I could get by without for quite some time. Then as the weeks went by and I got closer and closer to the move day, I was packing things that were more important to the kitchen. So I would put kitchen 2 weeks out. So I knew that these were things I could get by without for 2 weeks, but eventually I would kind of need them. Then I did boxes, kitchen 1 week out. Then right before the move, in a couple of days leading up to it and on the day, I labeled the boxes of kitchen things that I had left as urgent. So when we got to the new house and it came time to unpack, I knew that I was going to unpack urgent, 1 week out, 2 week out, not essential. Again, it sounds like such a little thing, but I'm telling you, when you are like in the throes of moving and you need a pan and you don't know which of your 18 kitchen boxes the pan is in, it's really frustrating. So if you have 2 urgent boxes or 3, you know, those are gonna be much faster for you to find and unpack than, you know, trying to dig through and guess which kitchen box it's in. It made such a difference for me. Can't recommend enough. The next thing is also something I've never really done before, but made so much sense. I don't know why I've never done this before. It seems so obvious now, but I packed me, my baby, and my husband packed his, a weekend bag. We had pajamas, we had toothbrushes, we had body wash, shampoo, conditioner, underwear, socks, and we didn't have to dig through boxes for them, which has literally been my life before. I remember being pregnant with my daughter. We had just moved and I went downstairs to go dig through a box to try and find my pajamas and toothbrush. Such a little thing, seems so obvious, but I had never really thought of it before, and it takes so much stress off. Another thing that really takes stress off is to clean the house before you move in, if you can. This was really hard for us because we were getting our house painted. So we actually like couldn't clean until they left. But my sister came over the night that we moved in and we like cleaned really fast, and then we were able to move the stuff in. But I would have liked to have had more time to deep clean, because you know what I ended up doing was having to like clean the cupboards that week before I unpacked the kitchen. So cleaning everything and having like a fresh slate before you start moving in, it just makes the move so much smoother and easier. My next tip is to ask for help if you can, especially if you are a mother with young children. I know that this is not like necessarily available to everyone. I know it's hard, but if you have sisters, sister-in-laws, mothers, grandmas, aunts, friends, any type of support system that can help you to clean, to watch the baby while you get some unpacking done, if you can, try to lean on them. And if you don't have this kind of support system close by, I know like you might be moving to a new place, or you just might not have any family around. If it's an option, I think hiring like a mother's helper for a day would be something to think about as well. Like my sister-in-law came over and played with my baby while I got a ton of unpacking done, and it was so helpful. And if you don't have that option at all, something else I did during this move, because you know, there's a limit to how much help I want to ask for. Something else I did was I got up early before she woke up and I unpacked then. And then the last thing I did that made this move less stressful, especially with a toddler, was I kind of prioritized, but also like lowered my expectations. When you move, there's a lot of things that need to be hung up, pictures, curtains. It's super important to me that we have all of our furniture anchored. We had baby gates to put up. We had doors to fix that wouldn't close all the way. Other things around the house that needed attention and fixing. This stuff takes time, and I'm not gonna lie, my strong suit is not anchoring things to the wall. The last time I tried to hang curtains, it was 2018, and it went very, very badly. So I let my husband do those things. However, he works full-time and he wasn't able to take any time off for this move. So what we decided on as a couple was that we would spend 1 hour every Saturday doing these things that need to be done. And I made a priority list starting with safety. So anchoring the furniture was really high on that list. Installing a baby gate was super high on that list. Hanging curtains so that people couldn't see into our house was very high on that list. And this just took the pressure off of both of us for everything to get done immediately. You know, realizing like these things take time. You don't settle into your home overnight unless you're my amazing sister-in-law who literally unpacked her house in a day. We admire, but we don't compare. But just realizing like these things will get done eventually. As long as we are like slowly working towards it, there's no need to stress. No need to stress. We aren't going anywhere anytime soon, Lord willing. Making a house a home takes time. And ultimately, you know, I want to make sure it's safe for my baby, number one. But after that, I want to enjoy the process. I hope that you found this video helpful. I hope that it makes things easier for you and that your move goes as smoothly as possible. If you did enjoy the video and would like to help support the channel, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out tremendously. Make sure to check out my last video where I talk about why we moved and where we kind of went. You can check that out right here next. Subscribe for more content around an intentional home and honest motherhood. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. I wish you the best of luck.